Okay, hey y'all. It's D-Day, bitch. Okay, so we're discussing Feel My Rhythm by Red Velvet, if you couldn't tell from the title. I'm just giving you all my first impressions because right now it's been like maybe 7 hours since it was released. So I'm giving y'all the first fresh impressions of this album. Keep in mind that these might change as time goes on because these are just like, I'm living off the high right now of a Red Velvet comeback, so maybe these opinions will change. But so this video isn't really that scripted, if you couldn't tell already. Just because I don't like scripting like first impressions for comeback reviews. I feel like it just restricts me too much, and I also just didn't want to take the time to like write out a full script as well. So yeah, we raw dogging this bitch. All right, so let's get into this. Okay, so starting with Feel My Rhythm. So I was anticipating this song so much, even more than their other title tracks, due to the fact that SM revealed that they had sampled Bach for this one. Now, I fucking hate SM Entertainment, but they do a good job most of the time when it comes to Red Velvet's music. And the one thing that they have done so far that I was hoping that they would do, and I hope they continue to do, is keep Red Velvet out of the goddamn Kwangya. So I was really anticipating this, especially because like they were doing something completely opposite from what other SM groups are currently doing. We kind of got like a classical sound with Psycho, but like at the same time, we've all heard violins in a K-pop song before, so I was really waiting for them to go like all in on a classical concept. If you've been following me for a long time, you know that I am a classically trained singer, and this is something I've been waiting for because I feel like classical concepts are a really good way to show off your vocals, and K-pop groups don't really do that anymore. So I was really anticipating it for Red Velvet in particular. I was so nervous for this because I legitimately had no idea how it was going to sound. Like, we all got the MV teaser, and that was the box sample that they used, but there was nothing else to indicate how the rest of the song would sound. And this time around, we didn't get any album medley. We didn't even know who worked on the B-sides. There was no writers, no composers, no lyricists, and this is the first time they have ever done that. But in the end, I'm honestly kind of glad that they did because it gave us the chance to listen to the song like as a whole before judging it. Like, if y'all remember Day One era when they shared snippets of the song, they had chose the worst possible snippet for LP, and we all thought it was going to be the worst song on the album, and it ended up being the best. So I'm glad we went into this comeback almost completely blind. I loved the title track. I thought the chorus was so beautiful, and they did a wonderful job like mashing up a classical song with something more pop based and like trap based. A lot of people said they didn't like the music video, but I personally loved it. I feel like it's one of those music videos that people are going to come back to in the future. It was so pretty but like scary at the same time, but it isn't a Red Velvet music video if it doesn't creep you out. I'm really excited for the choreo for this song. Some of the backup dancers were talking about how excited they were for this comeback on Instagram, so I'm anxious to see them perform it. I give this song a 7 out of 10. Now moving on to the B-sides. First up is Rainbow Halo. Let me just say this is definitely going to be played at Pride in Seoul. I don't really like its placing on the album all that much. I felt like it shouldn't have been put like right after the title track, but in a way I kind of understand it at the same time too. It kind of like winds you down from Feel My Rhythm. But this song is cute, and I love the saxophone in the background of the chorus. I like how laid back it is, and it's just like such an easy and relaxing song to listen to. I don't really know how else to describe it aside from like calming. It just has like a feel-good vibe to it, and it reminds me of music you'd hear like in a cafe or whatever. I give this song a 7 out of 10. Next up is Beg For Me. Bitch, this song is so fucking good. Oh my god. The TL was talking about the possibilities for this song because with a title like Beg For Me, it's obviously going to be cunty, but this exceeded expectations on every level. This song is so good, it makes me want to break things. Like, it's so good that it makes me fucking angry. Like, where's that audio that's like, girl, let's go to the club and pop our pussies? Like, that is the best way I can describe how this song makes me feel. I rarely ever listen to a song that makes me like physically angry at how good it is, but this is one of them. Like a while back I said I wanted more slutty sounding songs in K-pop, and Red Velvet said, alright, bet, and released one of their best B-sides. Like I'm already seeing people make edits with this song for different idols, and I am all about it. This song is so fucking good, and once again I'm so glad we didn't get an album medley, because I would not have been able to tolerate waiting for this comeback if they had dropped a teaser for this song earlier. This song is so good, and if you couldn't tell, I think it's the best song on the album. I give this song a 10 out of 10. Next song is Bamboleo. Now I love a Red Velvet song where Red Velvet get to show off their harmonies and remind y'all that they are the best third gen group vocally. Also, during 2020, I was hoping Red Velvet would come back with a city pop / retro concept, but as we all know, they did not come back in 2020. However, I'm glad they delivered a B-side with a similar sound. If y'all remember my comeback reviews from 2020 as a whole, you know I was raving about We Ride by Brave Girls, and this song reminds me so much of that. It's one of those songs you listen to while driving around the city at night. It feels like you'd hear it on the radio or playing in a grocery store or something. It just has such a nostalgic feel to it. And I'm glad we got something even remotely close to city pop from Red Velvet again. And as I suspected, they bodied it. I give this song an 8 out of 10. Next up is Good, Bad, Ugly. I don't really know if this was album material. It feels more suited to a drama. It sounds less like a B-side and more like the soundtrack to a drama like Hotel de Luna. I don't hate it, I just don't think it had a place on the album. That's really all I have to say about this for now. I'm going to give it a tentative 5 out of 10 for the time being. With Red Velvet, you really never know. Sometimes I think I won't like a B-side and I won't listen to the song for a while, and then suddenly I'm overcome with the urge to listen to it, and then it becomes my new favorite song. So this rating may not be permanent. And last we have In My Dreams. Y'all, they released this one for the Pick Me Girls. No, but seriously, this song tied the whole album together. It sounds so dreamy, and it feels kind of like a song you'd hear in a Disney princess movie. There were so many different sounds on the album, and I enjoyed them all, but I'm really glad they tied the classical fairy tale type concept together at the end with this song. Why did my voice just shake? Anyways, it was so beautiful, and Yuri's voice in particular really stood out to me. I'm still so upset that they had to cancel the concert because they got COVID, because I really would have loved to see this live, but hopefully if they reschedule, this will be on the set list. I give this song an 8 out of 10. Anyways, for the album as a whole, I give it an 8 out of 10 so far. I have to say I'm pissed that this wasn't a full album, but I'm really happy with the songs we did get. It was so versatile, and some of the B-sides on here are definitely making it onto my list of favorite Red Velvet songs and favorite K-pop songs of all time. In addition, I'm so proud of Red Velvet for selling over 500,000 copies with this comeback. I fucking blame SM for this not happening sooner, because we've literally had to beg them in the past to restock albums, and SM is just generally low effort when it comes to Red Velvet. And now I'm finished talking about the album, and now I'm gonna get on those of you who talked all that shit about Red Velvet disbanding and being the weakest in the big three. First of all, fuck you guys. I never thought I'd see the day where I was considered a hag Revelove, but for the past 3 to 4 years, all Reveloves had been hearing about Red Velvet from K-pop stands is how they're the weakest in the big three, how every comeback was going to be their last, blah, 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 all this shit about how Red Velvet was basically 6 feet under. You all can eat your fucking heart out, because 8 years into their career and they're still breaking records. Nothing for the girlies who swore Red Velvet was falling off. Nothing for the girls who said they were on the verge of disbandment. Nothing for the girls who said aespa was going to replace them. And speaking of aespa, I need to get on Mize real quick, because you all were the loudest about your hatred for Red Velvet when you should be thanking them. If not for Red Velvet, the members of aespa would be flipping patties somewhere, because after what happened with FX, it was not looking good for the future of SM girl groups, and SM repeatedly put little to no effort into promoting Red Velvet, and yet they still succeeded. And on that note, fuck SM stans. Y'all love to spout that SM family bullshit when it suits you, when in reality most of you hate Red Velvet. And on top of having the most pre-orders for an SM girl group, the Reva Festival finale just became the most streamed album by an SM artist, so everyone say thank you, Red Velvet. Now, as for the reactions to Feel My Rhythm, I need you all to shut the fuck up about Psycho. Shut up about Psycho, shut up about Bad Boy, shut up about any of their previous concepts that you want them to go back to. Every single comeback you all do this, and it's never not a stupid fucking tape. Now listen, I've been saying for the longest time, Red Velvet is for the girls who like to mix it up. They're not for those of you who like predictability and a certain sound or concept guaranteed for every comeback. If you don't like being surprised every comeback, they're not for you. And to be honest, I don't really care if you don't like a Red Velvet comeback. They're not for everybody, and if you aren't someone who can appreciate their no concept, you're bound to not like some of their comebacks. But every single time they come back with a concept that isn't Psycho or Bad Boy, you all act surprised that they're not doing a repeat or a rebrand of those comebacks and start complaining that they need to go back to those comebacks as if this is a fresh new take on their music. Every K-pop stan knows Red Velvet doesn't do the same concept more than once. Just say you don't like the concept instead of writing think pieces about how you want them to go back to Psycho or Bad Boy era because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Red Velvet changed concepts. That is one of the only consistent things about them as a group. They're not going to do Bad Boy or Psycho again. So instead of starting that campaign up again, just say, I don't like this concept and keep it moving. Every time one of you opens your mouth to speak on Red Velvet's concepts, you embarrass yourself because you just out yourself as knowing nothing about them as a group. It's so much easier and you come off way less annoying when you just say you don't like a song instead of trying to lecture all of us about what you think Red Velvet should be doing. Girl, anyways, I had to get that rant out of my system. Because a lot of people had it out for Red Velvet, and I need you all to know how stupid you sound. It sucks that every single time they come back, it's always tainted with people being bitter and dumb. But aside from that, I'm hoping they do well this time around. I don't want to say anything specific because I don't want to jinx it, but Revel Loves, stop being lazy fucks and go stream. The girls deserve at least that much from us. But anyways, that's all for this video. Remember that these are my first impressions. This review is subject to change. Anyways, that's all for this video. I will give updates on what I think about this era as a whole as we continue and as they begin to promote, because for me personally, I'm somebody who believes that the whole era is defined by not just the album and the music video and stuff, but promotions, how well they do, all that good stuff that goes into making an era really good or really bad. So I will give updates as I see fit. So yeah, thank you all for watching. And like I said, these opinions on the album are subject to change because these are first impressions. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.